Hey guys, Mrs. Bevington here with another What You Need to Know from The Book Thief. Okay, so today I'm going to talk to you guys about the chapters entitled Hitler's Birthday, 100% German Sweat, 100% Pure German Sweat, which you didn't have to read, but since we skipped over, I'm going to talk to you about, and The Gates of Thievery. So we know that Liesel is going to steal another book, and here's where we're going to get the information about that. So Hitler's birthday. Mulching is getting ready to celebrate. It's kind of like a national holiday. There's a big parade, there's a bonfire, marching, singing. Everyone's required to attend. So obviously the Hubermans are getting ready to go. The Nazis are going around and collecting literature and books for the bonfire. And what you need to know about that is it was very common for the Nazis to burn books and literature that were either restricted by the government or were written by people that they wanted you to avoid, such as Jewish authors. So this is what we call censorship, when the government doesn't allow you to read anything you want. And so oftentimes these things were collected. If you were caught with these materials, it would be considered a crime against the government. So it was a pretty serious thing. The Hubermans are kind of panicking in the start of this because they can't find their Nazi flag, and every home is required to be flying the Nazi flag. Regardless of whether you're a member of the party, Nazi party or not. Obviously, they're panicking because we know that the government is dangerous, that bad things could happen. You could be taken away if you go against them. So during this chapter, Hans Jr. and Trudy, who are the adult children of Hans and Rosa, come home to go to this celebration. And Hans Jr. argues a lot with Hans during this. He doesn't approve of the fact that Hans is not a member of the party. And we do find out that Hans was kind of pressured into applying to join the Nazi party. But he has been rejected from that because he painted over some anti-Semitic slogans that were on a Jewish home. So basically, it was not uncommon for people, the Nazis especially, to vandalize Jewish homes and businesses and label them as being these horrible places or people. Because Hans painted over those slogans, he has now been unable to join the party, which is not good for him in this living in Germany at this time. We also hear Mein Kampf mentioned, and so I would encourage you to look that up as well. Mein Kampf is the title of a book that Hitler wrote when he was in prison prior to becoming the leader of Germany. It means my struggle. He wrote very prolifically. He was very convincing, persuasive, and had a way with words. And that's why, it's one of the reasons why people gravitated to him as a leader. He was highly intelligent, and his words made a lot of sense to people at the time. So Mein Kampf kind of became the Nazi handbook, if you will, or at least a symbol of their leader, so it was very important to them. We do find out from death that things are not going to turn out well for Hans Jr. The Battle of Stalingrad is mentioned, and I would encourage you guys to look some of that information up as well. And it sounds like Hans Jr. is not going to make it out. So, all right, hold on. Let me get... Okay. The next chapter is one that you skipped, and it was essentially talking a little bit about the bonfire and how Liesel felt about it. We learned a little bit of history in the bonfire in this chapter, that 40 million people died during World War II. During this chapter, Ludwig, who is the kid that Liesel beat up, is at the bonfire, and he gets kind of trampled by the crowd and injures his ankle, and Liesel helps him, helps get him to safety, and they kind of make up. Like, he apologizes for making fun of her, and she apologizes for beating him up. So it's kind of a nice moment. And they both kind of watch the large pile of books burning. It's pretty short. And then in the Gates of Thievery, Liesel is waiting on the church steps for Hans after everything has happened. And Liesel asks Hans if, she's been kind of making connections here. She asks Hans if Hitler made her mother disappear. And Hans is honest and says, I think probably yes, he did. And then Liesel says, I hate him. And this leads to something very unexpected. Hans actually slaps her rather hard. So this is kind of shocking. Like, people ask, why would Hans do that? They love each other. They're always so close. Lisa loves him. And so what you have to understand is the danger of saying those words. When he slaps her, he's not doing it because he's angry with her for saying that she hates Hitler. He's doing it because if anyone were to hear, he would lose her. So he needs to kind of get through to her that she can't say things like that. And the way that he does it is by hitting her hard enough so that she's going to remember not to do it again. So it's kind of surprising, but if you understand that they're really living in a fearful state at this point, not having the flag out, Hans not being a member of the party, like Liesel saying these things, all of these things could lead to their doom. So they know what's been happening behind the scenes, and they don't want to stand out to the Nazis, and Hans does not want to lose Liesel. So while it seems very cruel, it really is a way of him communicating to her how important it is not to do this. He doesn't want to lose her. So the Gates of Thievery, if you're at the Gates of Thievery, you're about to commit a theft, and that's where the chapter kind of ends, with Dell telling us that, she's about to commit the theft. So that's kind of where we're at. It's a lot of information. There's a lot of illusion. Hopefully you guys are learning a little bit more about illusion from the Ed puzzle that I assigned this week. Don't hesitate to reach out and ask questions. It can be really tricky, and death jumps around quite a bit. So it can be hard to understand, but I feel like we're getting to the point where things are going to start making more sense to you. And these little, like, foreshadowing pieces that he's going to throw at you, like about Hans Jr. and some other ones that are coming up soon, they're going to make more sense to you and make you want to finish this book. So hang in there, guys. I miss you all, and I hope to talk to you soon.